Shalom. Kol Holo Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Raha Hakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the globe. My name is Barad Ball, coming to you from the GMS campus, Indianapolis. And to all those listening and learning to you, I say Shalom, especially to you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that make up the 12 tribes of Israel. Today, just it's been a while, but we're doing a cautionary tale, cautionary tale 16. And as you can see on the screen, it is a Virginia councilman, Lee Vogler, doused with gasoline, set on fire. And so I'm going to play the video, but I also have to say, fair use. I'm not receiving any monetary gain. Just going to play the video and just add some commentary through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai as a cautionary thing of the elect, those who will receive this, to understand how we should proceed with caution when we go out into the world. And so again, this is a cautionary tale, and I'll just say, I guess it'll be like a councilman. But while we're speaking of it, and I'll get the video, last, but while we're speaking on councilman, I did look it up. What is a councilman? A councilman or woman, you have those two, is a member of a council as of a town city. So with that being the case, they have built themselves a reputation, because if they are councilmen, they are an assembly or meeting of consultation, advice, or discussion. So they give, advice or discussion as far as how the city should move, how money should be moved, how people should be preparing themselves for future things to come, within the city. If they have big events that are coming into play, making sure that certain laws and permits and legislations are set. This is a group elected or appointed as an advisory or legislative board or body. Okay. It says, let's look up this legislative. It says, having the power or performing the functions of legislating. It says, belonging to the branch of government that is charged with such powers as making laws, levying, collecting taxes, and making financial appropriations. So as you can see, a man of this stature, as a councilman of a city, should have a very well set or reputation amongst the people. Okay, whether it be within your home, of course, when no one's really looking, with Brotherhood always speaks on that, because the scriptures talk about that. Let me see if I can get that real quick. It actually is going to another place real quick. So let's see. This is the book of 1 Timothy chapter 3 verse 3. Not going to read all of it. You can go into it a little further. Let's actually go. Let's get the full chapter, since 3 is the start. It says, verse 1, it says, this is the true saying. If a man desire the office of a bishop, he desires a good work. So let's look up this word bishop. And we're just doing a basic dictionary look up. Someone that having spiritual or ecclesiastical supervision over others. So like I said, likened to a councilman. All right. And then let's go back. Let's see if we can get it in the etymon. bishop. It says bishop, a high priest, a watcher, right? Overseer, a title for various government officials. Okay. So you can see we can liken this gentleman if, if we wanted to take it to more of a spiritual context, would be likened unto a bishop, an overseer. Okay. And what we're saying is that if you desire to be a bishop, he desired the good work. A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant. Now, of course, the scriptures talk about having, a man having multiple wives, so that's not what that's going into. But, we're not going to go too deep there. Maybe a later subject, or you could do a GMS breakdown of that of that verse, and men have gone into it. It says vigilant, sober, of good behavior. Okay, given to hospitality, apt to teach. So again, you're liking it to as one. Again, you're going to the men of the Lord to seek counsel from on high. All right, and the men are going to speak the words, the oracles of the Heavenly Father. It says, not given to wine nor striker. You can drink, but not getting yourself to the point where you're losing control. All right, we have to have a discipline in ourselves. All right, we check in ourselves first. No striker, not greedy of filthy lucre. And what we find in the world, that many people that are holding these high positions tend to be some of the most evil and wicked people. And so there was a video that came out years ago. I remember seeing it, probably still streaming around if you look for it, where it was stated that they were like, and this is just roughly, they said all these, it was like 100 and something different crimes. And they went through some of the crimes, and they said who was most likely of like these sports in all of like professions to have done these crimes. And people were like basketball players, and they was like football, many of the sports that were highly played by you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. But then when the truth came out, they said no, many of these were political leaders, politicians, governor officials. Okay, and many people were shocked. But again, that's the settlement when you have a kingdom that's being ran by the wicked. As the rulers are, so are the people. Okay, but again, it says given to hospitality, apt to teach, not given to wine or striker, not greedy of filthy lucre's sake, only trying to get money and gain, but patient, not a brawler, not covetous. All right, one that ruleth his own house, having his children in subjection with all gravity. So you being able to rule your own spirit, your own body, but then also your household. And then of course, as if times permit or the Lord gives that opportunity, then you ruling over people. And in this case, him being a councilman, he's setting rules and financial means for the city. But as a man of the Lord, maybe having men under you as maybe an officer, a head of a camp of some sort. But even through the spirit, if you are of the elect, you're going to have this mindset and this class of integrity about you. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to get a few scriptures, a few other scriptures, get the video, and then we'll end. This is the book of, actually, let's go ahead and get the video. And I'm not going to speak on anything, make any assumptions, just let you hear it. And from that point, I'll just pull out scriptures. Here we go.
Big headline from Danville, Virginia. A city councilman intentionally doused with flammable liquid and set on fire. Here's Pierre Thomas.
Tonight, a horrific crime in broad daylight. A city councilman from Danville, Virginia, doused with gasoline and set on fire.
What's up, guys? It's Lee Vogler.
Councilman Lee Vogler confronted inside the office of a local magazine where he also worked.
An individual forced his way into our office carrying a 5-gallon bucket of gasoline and poured the gasoline on Lee. Lee attempted to flee, ran to the front of the building. The individual followed him and set him on fire.
Vogler, elected in 2012, then the youngest member of the city council.
As you guys know, for 13 years, I've never missed a meeting.
Tonight, witnesses say that before the councilman was airlifted to a North Carolina hospital, he identified his attacker as 29-year-old Shotzi Buck Hayes. Police arrested Buck Hayes after he allegedly fled the scene. Authorities say the suspect's motive involves a personal matter not related to the victim's position on Danville City Council or any other political affiliation. Tonight, the suspect is being held without bond in the Danville City Jail. He's facing a charge of attempted first-degree murder. David?
What an awful story, Pierre Thomas, tonight. Thank you.
As a therapist,
All right, so let's get some scriptures. And the one thing I just wanted to draw out and why I spoke those things prior to is because, as you can see, there was a difference between him as a person as far as holding counsel and his personal life, okay? Because whatever was going on personally between that gentleman or that man that doused him and set him on fire was something that, the Lord, brought forth a judgment, Salakia. The point I'm making in that is, the way that we are in our personal life should also be how we are out in the world. And so when certain matters come, the principle of things happen, we have to now think, like, what could he have been into? Because people are saying things about the guy, which is, to go and do that is something horrendous, to go and, set someone on fire. But then you have to have a thought of what were you into in your personal matter to make someone or to provoke someone to the intent that they would want to come in and do that in broad daylight. And you are an official that is known in the city, all right, that holds such high position, okay, within your city. And so here's some scriptures. This is the book of Job, chapter 4, 7 and 8. It says, "Remember, I pray thee, whoever perish being innocent, and where were the righteous cut off, even as I have seen, they that plow iniquity and sow wickedness reap the same." So at some point, the Lord saw that there was a judgment that was to come, this magnitude. And not only that, it's now been publicized before the whole congregation, the true flock of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And so now everybody is seeing this, and these are the certain thoughts. What could you have been into in your personal matter? Because people in this world will show an outward appearance of being great, as you showed a video of him saying, "I've never missed a meeting in 13 years," showing this outward appearance, but inwardly they are full of dead man's bones. That's the scripture that just came to mind. It says where it talks about the high priest, where, like, let's get it. Because again, as we're talking about being a bishop or someone in this high level, this is what people out in the world, whether you're in the knowledge, in the know, and those that are out in the world. It says, Matthew chapter 23, verse 27, it says, "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites." So we can't be hypocritical, because the Lord is going to expose you. He says, for ye are likened unto whited sepulchres, which have indeed appear beautiful outwardly, but are within full of dead man's bones, and of all uncleanliness. So of course, outwardly, people in this world, suit, tie, clean face, shaven, but then once the cameras go off, you could be completely evil to your family, your children, a striker, a brawler, and all of that. But the cameras come back on, and you have this pristine, visual, to the outside, and seeing people, especially the children of Israel, starting. That's the main people, we're focused on, and it tells us in First Samuel, I believe 1 Samuel 16, where it says, the people look on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. So something the Lord seen, that this type of judgment was to come. So this is the book of Galatians chapter 6, verse 7 and 8. It says, be not deceived, the Most High is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to the flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. And that being doused by fire would be a reaping of corruption, because he could have died, because they didn't say that he was unalive. It says, but he that soweth of the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. So if the Lord's making it known, and through the judgments that come, the type of judgments that are coming upon people, because they walk pridefully in the world. Let me get this one here. Spirits created for vengeance. Created for vengeance. We'll just go there. There it is. Check this. It says there, Sirachs, Ecclesiasticus, chapter 39, verse 28. It says, there be spirits created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. So that was a force, for the guy to not care, broad daylight, go in there where people are until his office, right? Let's get the next verse. It says, fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. All right. So as you can see, we will go further. It says, teeth of wild beasts, scorpions, serpent, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. Punishing the wicked to destruction. Okay. So then we got the book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verse 10. It says, say ye to the righteous that it shall be well with him, for they shall eat the fruit of their doings. So if you're doing well, it's gonna come. It says, verse 11, woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given unto him. So that was a reward is a judgment, all the same. A judgment of good and a judgment of evil. Bad times. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 10. It says, I, the Lord, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings. And so the things in which we are doing, whether it be in secret, whether it be out in the open, the Lord is going to reveal it. All right. And he's going to make it known through the judgments in which people receive. So I hope that this lesson was edifying, uplifting, exhorting to the elect body of true believers. Before I end, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahahakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the globe. Until next time, all those listening and learning to you, I say, Shalom.